welcome to T24 Podcast by Bomi Adelaja. In this series, I'll be talking to you about what I've themed how to avoid drift in your marriage. So, before we go any further, let me define what a drift is. A drift is a slow, continuous movement from one place to another. I'm sure you'll be asking, so how would a drift occur in a marriage? Drift occurs in marriages for a variety of reasons, including lack of communication, unmet expectation, unmet needs, financial stresses, changes in your priorities and interest, emotional distance, neglect of the relationship, and unsolved conflict. So I'll be talking to us in this first episode about the lack of communication as a cause of conflict and drift in marriage. Communication is the lifeline of your relationship. I'm sure you know that. It is essential to the fostering of understanding, intimacy, trust in your relationship. When communication breaks down, it creates a void where misunderstanding, resentment, emotional distance would definitely thrive. Without effective communication, you may struggle to express your needs, how to resolve conflict, how to maintain closeness, leading to a drift in your relationship. Let me give you an example of some of the topics or actions that might lead to communication breakdown and therefore a drift in your relationship. Misinterpreting of intent is the first one. This is about assuming negative intention behind the words or action of your spouse without seeking clarification. The second is stonewalling. This is withholding communication, emotionally shutting down during discussion, preventing a productive dialogue. The third is passive aggressive behavior, where you are expressing frustration and dissatisfaction indirectly rather than openly addressing them. This could be keeping malice, stonewalling, as I said, gaslighting also. The fourth is lack of active listening. This is failing to fully engage in conversation, leading to feelings of not being heard or invalidated. The other reason is avoidance of difficult topics. I know not everybody likes to engage in what we call difficult conversations. So this is when people are ignoring or sidestepping the important issues and avoiding conflict. This will result to unresolved issues, tension. Burying your head in the sand is not always a productive way of resolving issues in your relationship. Now, let me give you some tips on how you can go about improving communication in your relationship so that you avoid having a drift in your marriage. The first thing I'll talk about here is you need to practice active listening. Making conscious effort to truly listen to your partner without interrupting them or formulating responses of what you think they're about to say. You're seeking to understand their perspective before you express your own. There's a scripture for you in that, and that is in James 1:19. It says, "My brother and my sister, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to becoming angry." The second thing I'll give to you actually is fostering openness and honesty. Create a space where both parties feels comfortable to express their thoughts, feelings, and concerns without feeling fear of judgment in their action. The third thing I would say to you is use the I statement. Frame sentences with the I in it instead of you. An example of that is phrase sentence like, I feel like I'm not listened to when you interrupt me, rather than to say, you are always interrupting me. It's the same thing, but the packaging, the delivery is different. Okay? The fourth thing I would say to you is schedule regular check-in. Set aside time to really dedicate on open communication. Check in with each other. Check what is the state of your relationship. It is important. Scripture for you in that is in Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. The fifth thing I would say to you is practice conflict resolution skills. I covered this extensively in my other series on conflict resolution. So if you haven't already listened to that, I would suggest that you pause this and do listen to that, because I did give you quite a lot of information on how you can best resolve conflict. So before we go, I want to give you a scripture that I hope will help you in navigating season in your marriage, especially around communication, to avoid a drift. And it's in Romans 12:18, where it says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. I hope that this has been a helpful few minutes with some tips that you can take away around communication to avoid a drift in your marriage. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you very much.